Simulation in video games is a complex concept. In striving to recreate a real-life experience in a genuine way, it's always a fine line. Make it too broadly approachable, and you risk boring the hardcore audience that might be interested. Make it too exacting, and you take a chance on alienating a general, casual audience from making your game a financial success. On the topic of feeling alienated in regards to today's subject, my response is
take me to your leader.
Because MONACO Grand Prix might very well be the most difficult, exacting, brutally unforgiving racing sim I have ever played. Formula One racing fandom is its own breed to begin with. Contrasted with the straightforward, four-to-the-floor power of NASCAR oval racing, Formula One is done on winding road courses and, in many cases, actual streets, restructured to fit a bunch of high-performance automobiles. Instead of the blistering muscle of stock cars, Formula One is about strategy, slowly inching your way around hairpin turns and choosing when to sprint and when not to, as you can't just mash the throttle and expect to blow away the competition. As you might imagine, this experience has been recreated in video game form. Ubisoft first created a racing game called F1 Racing Simulation in 1997 for the PC, and it was popular enough to gain a sequel, which was retitled MONACO Grand Prix for the console market. With this game, Ubisoft very distinctly aimed for the hardcore F1 racing fan, because this game is cerebral and ruthlessly exacting in a way that is sort of stunning. You have to be absolutely on your shit at all times. If you touch the barriers, you spin out. If you touch the grass, you spin out. If you touch the dirt, you spin out. Sometimes you hit a lengthy straightaway and follow it with a 180-degree turn, and no matter how many laps I did, I was never able to quite recollect that it was coming up once again, and woe was me. And let me tell you, many laps I did. This game is run on a timed checkpoint metric, so if you're trying to crawl through the wiggling turns to make sure you're clearing them, you're going to fail, early and often. Nearly every track on this game requires a 6 or 7 lap run, and it took me more than a full half hour of gameplay to even reach lap 3. I didn't actually finish a race until more than 90 minutes after I turned the game on. Not like win a race, or like place top 5. Finish any race. The learning curve on the exacting, specific controls of this game is so ridiculously, preposterously high that it's almost offensive that it's asking you to even consider competing against others on top of it. This had the specificity of a farming simulator, or one of those ludicrously precise Steam indie game sims, but for those games, the meticulous specificity is the appeal, the novelty of just doing a hard thing you wouldn't think of in video game form. But car racing does not contain that novelty, and if you played a game called Toddler Learning How to Ride a Bike on Training Wheels Simulator, chances are it wouldn't also have a Tour de France mode. When I was finally able to complete one race by the skin of my teeth, there was no fanfare at all, to the point that I initially thought I had failed. It didn't even say finish, but I knew that I had done it. And that's all that mattered. Once I finally completed that, I decided to back out and check out the other modes. And to my horror, I realized that the mode I had been playing was arcade mode. That's right. The game that I was playing, the most exacting racing simulation I have ever played by a wide margin, was on the casual difficulty. This was the fun version, the pick-up-and-play version. It gets more complicated and more difficult and more specific from here. I just yelled, "No! "No!" and furiously smashed the back button so I could try retro mode. Shortly after I got in there, you'll be shocked to know that cars from the 1950s do not magically handle easier in this game than cars from the late 90s, and things went south immediately. If you are a fan of Formula One racing and have the desire and the patience to experience a painstaking recreation of your favorite motorcar sport, maybe this is for you. The graphics are nice, the intro theme is unexpectedly, inexplicably epic.
Are you ready? Ready for the race? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Even if the regular soundtrack is that same kind of generic waiting room techno that every other Dreamcast game seems to have. The simulation mode, where you can customize all the random little gears on the car, seems in-depth, if that's your scene. Ultra-hard games can be charming if the point is that they're ultra-hard. That's the appeal of those ridiculous indie sims. But if the absurd difficulty is simply incidental to a game that otherwise expects you to have regular, competitive fun, that can grow quickly frustrating if the game doesn't have much else around it. MONACO Grand Prix assumes that if you're here, you know what you're in for, but it's so rigorously strict that it just isn't any fun, even if that's on purpose. Next time, take me down to the hoverboard city, where the copyrights are infringed and the men are in their 40s for some reason.